So Garrett, can you tell me and all the others watching all across the world, pressure, what you're doing here in your garden right now?
Digging up potatoes.
And why are you digging up potatoes?
I'm about to go on my honeymoon, so I'm gonna have a feast with all the food, and I'm just gonna kind of prep the garden before we leave, so that way it's kind of a little bit more resilient while we're not here.
And why would one prep the garden?
Well, because I don't think it's gonna rain as much, or it might rain. I don't know the rain actually. That's why. Well, you don't want to waste food. You might as well eat it. That's the whole point of it. So, you know, we really try to clear out our fridge over the past like 2 weeks, and we have had food, but you know, our freezer, we're trying to just kind of clear out meats and things. And so, same goes with the garden. You should kind of really manage your food so it's not so wasteful.
Yeah.
And I wasted some of the potatoes already. I let them grow over. So I was just lazy to come out here and do it. So it's an accountability thing. Like having a garden, I think is like really important for self-control. And just like, I made an analogy when I was in a program at Life. It was, you know, if you can take care of a plant, then you can take care of yourself. If you can't even take care of a plant, like how do you expect to take care of yourself? Like, you know, just having something that you can grow with, like holds you accountable. It makes you need to get out of bed for. Pets do that. But this is like quintessential to life. Like being close to your food and like knowing what you're eating is like, even if it's micro, like you're getting one meal every week from your garden, like that's a game changer in your life and the overall status. There's an analogy made that like if everyone in the world ate 50% less meat, it'd be the same as 50% of the world being entirely vegan. And that really made an impact on like how I approach like everything in life, just especially food, and how much of a difference you can make just by like doing a little bit. But potatoes regrow, so when you have old potatoes going bad, you can just like cut off the spuds, throw them in your garden. I might do my potatoes in like buckets and stuff so I can just dump it out and I'll get a higher yield per space, and I might use this bed for something else. But this has been my potato bed for 2 years. I plan on doing crop rotation next year, but everything's kind of stayed in place. There's squash, kale, Brussels sprouts growing in the kale area. I just trimmed back the kale. This is its second year and it's still coming through fresh, so I know it laid a lot of seeds. I'll probably see a lot more kale sprouts come up. I have a tomato bed, and then I'd like to grow outward. There's some elderberry that I'm growing. I'd like to do a lot more berries. Berries are super good for health, but potatoes are like an essential food that you can regrow. So if the apocalypse happened, potatoes can get you through. There are a lot of carbohydrates, so there's a lot of energy. They say stay away from potatoes, but it's like if you grow your own potatoes, you're eating them like fresh like this, like, and you're not using a bad oil to cook them in. Potatoes are great for you. They can have a lot of natural minerals. But I think it's important to get your hands dirty. You get a lot of exposure through your fingernails whenever you're digging in dirt. You know, it's fun, but there's like a lot of benefits to just like getting immersed into the dirt with your microbiome health. Grounding yourself is like another term that's often used in
Grounding, what's that? Explain that to people.
Well, you know, if you take your shoes off and you touch water, when lightning strikes, you're going to get shocked, right? But if you're on a boat and you're not totally touching water, the lightning won't touch you. So like the same concept of just changing like your electrostatic state, so that way it seems to change your nervous system's input. So it's a lot of it's theory, but you know, taking off shoes and walking, there's a lot of nerves on your feet. A lot of times grounding's done when you walk barefoot on the ground. So there's a lot of truth to activating your nervous system externally.
Well, we're electric beings, and the earth is radiating all sorts of
Well, we've been so disconnected from the food web.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of it, is like we just kind of eat more convenience and flavor, and we're paying for it in the end, and like pain is not fun. Like having to go to the pharmacy and like buy meds because you're in pain is not something like you want. So taking back control of your life, like getting on your hands and knees, like this is work. This is what humans are supposed to do. This is how we like take care of the world. This is biblical and spiritual and different types of religions all around the world. When you talk about culture, that's food. It's what you're invested into. It's family, and you care for like the food because it helps take care of the tribe and the family. So this is integral to communities. I think we should all do a little bit, and it will go a very long way. We could change a lot of the food waste and ways that we're growing food that's so destructive. If everyone did a little bit at a time, and we can reuse those lands to grow hemp lumber and things like that.
Yeah,
so we're not using
lumber ain't cheap right now.
No, lumber's not cheap.
Boy.
And you can do hemp plastics and all types of reusable products through that source, and it's a very efficient wood, very dexterous. It's silly we're not, but I think there's a lot of room to repurpose the lands that we're growing on and have a lot more optimal use for it. So I have an herb bed over there. It's
I appreciate you sharing the information with us, because like a lot of people just don't even think about this kind of stuff, and maybe someone might have like the idea that, shoot, I might want to garden. So a lot of life is just about exposure. So why not just give a little insight and life into what you're doing here today, and maybe that might spark a little flare for someone else down the line.
That's what inspires